It is the day before game day, and we have a brand new Village Vice. I'm Brad Law. Zach is out, so we got Taylor Korn to fill in. Hope everybody is okay with that. Taylor's a little bit fired up about the start of the season. When are you coming to Auburn? Like, how quickly are you going to be able to make it down?
I will be in Auburn as soon as possible when I leave work. I have my bags in my car, so I'm leaving here and I'm heading straight there.
For people who are not aware, what is your packing process like? Because I saw a
Um,
video. It's an extensive process.
it's the clothing part of it, which this is easier because I'm staying with a friend. So if I
Yeah.
forgot any clothing things, then I have a friend that I'm staying with. The technology process,
That's what I'm
that's a
asking
different
about.
story
Yeah.
because I need I need all of the things. I need the microphones, I need the mic cords, I need the chargers, I need the camera, the memory cards, the camera charger. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I think I have it down to a science.
How heavy is the bag with the technology?
It sets off the seatbelt alarm in my passenger seat. So
I
it
love it.
is as heavy as however heavy you have to be to sit in that seat to where it
Yeah.
says, hey, your seatbelt's not on. So
So,
I
like,
think it has given me a little bit of scoliosis, but it is what it is.
you got to do what you got to do. Yeah.
Right.
The size of a toddler. I love it.
Yeah.
Village Vice is presented by mybookie.ag. If you go to mybookie.ag, use promo code next round. The folks over there are going to give you a 50% welcome bonus on that first deposit. The possibilities are endless. Again, it's mybookie.ag, promo code next round for a 50% sign-on bonus. We're going to have some fun here talking about Auburn and Alabama A&M. I kind of like that this year, Taylor, Auburn's opening with an opponent. You respect every opponent, and you respect your preparation and you respect every play. But I kind of like this team opening with this opponent as opposed to, say, opening against a Clemson or an Oregon, the likes of which Auburn has opened with in the last decade.
I agree because one of the things that I'm going to be paying the closest attention to in this season opener is the adjustment of the young guys that we will depend so much on this season from high school football to the SEC because it's a massive adjustment in everything that we've heard coming out of practice and the videos that we've seen have looked like they're doing a good job, but it's going to be different when you're under the lights in front of thousands of fans. So I want them to get comfortable. I want this game to be used as kind of a, I don't want to say coming out party, but show them off. Show them off, but also if if they make a big catch, if they make big plays, that's obviously going to boost their confidence moving forward.
Yeah. I want to throw some questions out. I'm going to get your picks for certain like props for this
Okay.
game. All right. Who scores the first points?
Ooh.
Not
Oh, I think Auburn.
touchdown,
Okay.
but points.
Wait,
What
player or team?
player?
Oh, player.
Yeah.
Player. I was like, easy team.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, is it a touchdown? Is it not if it's not a touchdown, you could go with Towns Magoo, who's going to, does he get a field goal?
I pray to God it's a touchdown. I so I want us to see I want to see us throwing in the red zone. That's what I hope to see. So I'll just be basic and say Cam Coleman.
Yeah. All right. You're going Cam Coleman right out of the gate. He gets the first touchdown of the season. Let me
Show
ask
him
you this.
off.
Yeah, show them all. Well, yeah. Jarquez Hunter didn't carry the ball. He was not available in the opener last year. Okay. Actually, before I get to the Jarquez question, Auburn won the game 59-14 last year against UMass. All right, 59-14. Arkansas scored 70 last night. Missouri scored 50 last night in their openers. Does Auburn score more or less in this year's opener than it did in last year's opener?
I hope so. I hope so just because I think that there are obviously a lot of questions around the offense. And so I think you need, prove a point that this offense can be efficient this year. And so I say run the score up, not to, I don't know if embarrass is the right word, but not because of the opponent, but just more for a boost of confidence for the fan base and for the people watching of, hey, look, it might not be, this isn't an SEC opponent, this isn't a big time opponent, but we have the capability of moving the ball and of scoring points. Because I think it was you and Zach that were talking earlier this week, maybe last week, about how many, if we would have scored one more touchdown, the record last year would have looked a lot different. Yeah. So we struggled offensively. So I think I hope so. I really hope so, because I think that we just need to blow it out of the water offensively. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. I think it was Kyle mentioned on the Top Button podcast that their goal is to score 40 points a game. If they had scored 3 more points a game on average last year, it equates to like a 10-2 or an 11-1 regular season record. Maybe LSU, A&M are the only games that were, that would have been the exception. So
I sent that out on Twitter and got a lot of blowback of, and if we won all of our games, then we would have won the national championship. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not. That you're missing the point, guys.
Right.
But yes, it's crazy. It's crazy how close some of those games were.
Well, that's life in the league. I mean, it's life in the SEC. Is your one touchdown or one field goal, your one possession away. Everybody's talented. Everybody has facilities. Everybody pays their coach 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million. Like that's the table. We talk about getting a seat at the table. That's the table. And when you're seated at the table, there are now minor differences between 10-2, 8-4, 6-6, and 3 more points a game can make a big difference. So you're set. Don't hope, predict more or less than 59 points in the opener.
59.
While you're thinking, I like that Arkansas put up 70 last night, because what you described is what they needed to do. They had a new offensive they had Bobby Petrino coming in to coordinate the offense. They had a new quarterback. It's the post-KJ Jefferson era. And they wanted to show that, hey, everything's fine offensively. We can be explosive. And so they were as explosive as you can get.
I'm gonna say over. I'm gonna say over.
Yeah. I tend to think so too. I think there are enough explosive pieces. Auburn got 59 points last year because Robbie Ashford scored 3 times in the red zone. It was red zone Robbie.
Red zone Robbie.
Yeah. And I think you have a different kind of explosiveness available on this team. So
get Hank Brown in there late in the game and let him sling the ball.
Yeah. All right. With that said, Auburn's leading rusher last year in the opener was Robbie Ash in terms of carries. All right. Robbie had 9 carries in the game. Auburn's leading running. Here's the breakdown of the running backs. Okay. In the opener last year, Damari had 8. Brian Battie had 8. Jeremiah Cobb had 5. Sean Jackson had 5. Justin Jones had 4. So quarterbacks had 14. Running backs had 30 of the 44 carries. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers out there, but 30 of the 44 carries. How many carries do running backs get against Alabama A&M?
More than the quarterbacks. That is an outrageous stat. Ooh.
It was 30-12 last year. Peyton carried 3 times. Robbie carried 9. And there were 2 team carries officially. So it was 30-9, 30 running back carries, but there was no Jarquez. I think it's 40.
That's 35-40.
I think Auburn gets to 40 carries. So of those 40, how many does Jarquez get? You're not going to run him 23 times.
Right. Ooh.
It's a math edition of Village Vice today, everybody.
15, 18?
Yeah.
Is that because how much is he going to play?
Yeah. And what does he do with the 15? Like, If on 9 he goes over 100, now let's see
then
Damari. Let's see
right,
Jeremiah. Let's see
right.
those guys involved. I think 15 is. I don't think any more than 15. I don't think any more. All right. Do any of Auburn's freshman receivers go over 100 yards?
Yeah,
You
I
think
think
so?
so. I think
All
so.
right. Does more than one receiver go over 100 yards in the game, freshman or otherwise? Because I'm assuming you mean you think Cam will go.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, hmm. I would say 2 is my ceiling.
Okay. No more than 2?
Because I can't remember what the exact quote was. I think it was something that Hugh Freeze said in a press conference this week, that it was basically a rotation of.
Yeah, free rotation.
Yes. So I would say possibly 2, but if they're rotating receivers that much, then, will there be opportunity for many of them to
Yeah.
get over 100 yards?
Well, 2 would be pretty. I mean, 2 I think would be dynamic. Two would leave fans very happy and
Yes.
excited if you had 200-yard receivers. We've seen 100-yard rushers in the same game a bunch, but not 2. All right, so now I got a trivia question for you
Oh
after.
gosh.
Yeah, an Auburn receiving trivia question
Okay.
after I tell our friends about Barner Supply Company. You got a couple of days left to take advantage of this great deal from the wonderful people at Barner Supply Company. They make top quality products using top quality items, and they're just quality people. They're Auburn people making Auburn gear for other Auburn people. Barner's making gear for Barners. And right now you get a 15% discount when you go to barnersupply.com, order the stickers, put them on everything. Order the koozies, order the shirts, order the hats. I can't wait to see how many Barner hats, just like this one or the one in the background, roaming around campus tomorrow. It's going to be great. Go to barnersupply.com and check them out. Be sure to use the promo code Village Vice, all one word, no spaces, when you check out. All right, Taylor, how many 100-yard receiving games by a freshman have been had in Auburn football history?
100-yard receiving games by a freshman.
By freshmen. I think we're going to do this on the
Not
tailgate show tomorrow. We're going to break it down and get into it a little more. But for right now, how many? Now, freshmen didn't play, until, the last 40 years or so, or 50 years, I guess. But
I feel like the number is very low considering we've only had 2 1,000-yard receivers, so the games of over 100 in general can't be
yeah,
that high. And then when it comes to freshmen, I'm trying to use like a process of elimination
yeah.
here.
We've had a fair amount of
Can
100-yard receiving games, like overall.
Okay,
But
okay.
how many freshmen?
How many
How many?
freshmen?
Not how many freshmen have done it. How many 100-yard receiving games by freshmen?
15. This might be an idiotic answer,
All right.
but
Why do you think it's idiotic? Do you think it's way too high or way too low?
I
You have
feel like
no frame of reference for the game. It's just you just threw it out.
yes. I'm
Okay.
just trying to use random things that I know to come up with an answer, but I feel like I'm going to be way off. I don't know if I'll be way too high or way too low, but I feel like I'm going to be way off one way or another.
Gotcha. 7.
Okay, not that far off.
It's not that far off, but think about that. Think about Auburn football history. Think about just the last 50 years. All right. All of the players who have come through, and only 7 times has any freshman recorded 100 yards receiving in a game. And you think that we see it for an 8th time tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm confident that we will. Yes.
Yeah, love it. Last year, Auburn's leading receiver was Jay Fair with 6 catches. Does Auburn's leading receiver Saturday against Alabama A&M get more or fewer than 6 catches? I'll say 5.5. So
5.5.
yeah.
I go back to the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But I said that I think that we'll have at least one with over 100 yards. So
Yeah.
will it be in, a 60-yard reception? I think over. I'll go over
You'll go
for
over.
Cam
So
again.
yeah, 6 or more. Shane Hooks was targeted 6 times last year. He only caught 2 balls. Actually, Jay only caught 5. This was the targets from last year. Jay caught 5, so we still set it at 5.5. So you think the leading receiver will have more catches than the leading receiver in last year's opener? I tend to agree with that. I don't know who it's going to be. I think there'll be a lot more options, but I think a guy like Robert Lewis or Keandre Lambert-Smith, I think those guys are going to be real weapons, especially in third down. And I don't know how many times you're going to see third down in the game, but I just like those options so much. That's what makes me most excited about the season is all of the options in the passing game and what it does to defenses. All right, I'm going to put my top guy on number 8. Great. Now deal with 14 or 5. All right, I'm going to put my second guy on 14. Okay. What do you do with Rivaldo Fairweather? What do you do with 13? What do you do with a running back out of the backfield? There's a mismatch there.
And that is something that we haven't had in quite some time.
Yeah.
Is options. So that will be refreshing. And something about this is kind of off topic, but we had Fozzie Whitaker on earlier this week, and he was talking about Keandre Lambert-Smith and said that he was reading an article about, it was Hugh Freeze talking about KLS, and he said he had every opportunity to come in and be selfish. He has experience. He was Penn State's leading receiver last year, and he said he came in and did exactly the opposite. And his biggest impact on the team this year might be all of the time, all of the effort that he's put into helping these younger guys, which I love to hear. I think everyone loves to hear, but he's coming in, he's spending extra time working with them, and hearing that come from the head coach, that I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that's a consistent theme, whether it's Fanaje Gote at the linebacker spot, Isaiah Rakes, who wants to be a coach when he's finished playing and knows the defense. So he's not only coming in to play, but he's coming to have an impact on the younger guys on the team. Or Keandre Lambert-Smith, or, we've heard the same thing about Robert Lewis too, that both of those guys have been really instrumental in the development of the younger players. And everybody wins when you have mentors and young raw talent and they're all working together for the same thing. Everybody gets better. And it's one of the reasons why we skip right to point 3 there on the right side of the screen. I'm booging. That's why I'm very I'm so far beyond what, and I'm biased and a homer, sure, but I'm so far beyond what the national folks who don't see some of those little things, some of those intangibles, they don't see those. They're not analyzing those, but those make a big difference in a team. And it's why I'm very high on what Auburn can do this season. All right, 6-pack time. Village Vice 6-pack. After we tell you about Roback. Roback has a new Auburn collection. Roback has the best looking polos, hoodies, most comfortable hoodies. Look, let the temperature drop about 10 degrees, and I'll be in my Roback hoodie all the time. You can go to roback.com right now. Use promo code VICE20. VICE20 at checkout. You're going to get 20% off your entire order. They have men's apparel, obviously. They have an outstanding line of women's apparel as well. So guys who are watching, if you're looking for gifts coming up, roback.com, VICE20 at checkout, get 20% off. You ready to pick some games?
I'm ready to pick some games.
All right. Let's go SEC exclusive here, and let's go chronologically on Saturday, and let's start it right off with Clemson and Georgia. And I guess, you know what? I need to pull up my bookie and get the lines for these
I'm pretty
games.
sure that I think Georgia's a 12-point favorite, and the total is 48.5.
Okay. So
last time I looked.
Yeah. All right. Then who do you like there? Do you go Dogs or do you go Clemson?
So we had Todd Furman on earlier, and he talked this was one of the games that he talked about with us. So my evaluation of this game is coming straight from what I took away from his analysis, which is they're both dealing with some injuries. He's expecting, players on both sides potentially not to see them. But this stat blew my mind. Dabo Swinney is 12-1 against the spread when he has been an underdog of 5 or more points. But I'm like, I still think Georgia's going to win.
Yeah.
But will they win by 12 points? I don't know. But I would take, my pick here would be the under.
Yeah. I'm going to take Clemson to cover the 12. I like Clemson to cover the 12 because Georgia took, you remember last year it took Georgia half the season to really get going offensively. And I think Clemson has the athletes, especially on the defensive line, to make it difficult to, be overly explosive. So, and Brock Bowers is gone. Who's next? Will they rely more on the running game? We'll see. So, all right. So from Georgia Clemson, let's move on to Vanderbilt and Virginia Tech. Vanderbilt's given up 13.5 points in this game. Tech a 13.5 point favorite. 48 is the line on this.
Under Virginia Tech.
You go Virginia Tech to cover and the under?
Yeah.
All right. Vandy, just no, you don't believe at all in the Commodores.
No, and I think I've been brainwashed by Dunaway, Brown, and Lance because they want them out of the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, all I've heard all summer is how they have Diego Pavia now and Jerry Kill, and that's going to completely turn the program around.
That is getting so old. That is the rebuttal to any not even argument, but that's any point is made that's positive about Auburn, and that's what gets brought up every time. And I'm like, guys, everyone has lost a game that they shouldn't. Everyone drops a game that's like, oh, that's bad. So
ULM did great in 2008, didn't they? Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, we forgot about that, so y'all just forget about this. Or I guess we can make them forget about it. But good Lord, it's getting old. It is getting so old. I'm so sick of hearing about it. I'm so sick of it. Okay, sorry.
I love it. No, I didn't know that was going to push buttons the way that it did. I wish I had known that and could take credit for doing it on purpose.
The amount of social media accounts that I'm logged into on my phone, and any time that anything is posted about Auburn, I would put so much money on a notification popping up that says something about that game. And I'm just like, okay, what else? Can you back this up with 2 or 3 more points? And then I'll listen to you. But if that's the only thing that you have to say, then I will goodbye. I'm not wasting any energy on this. Obviously I am right now, but whew.
This whole episode should have been Diego Pavia, Jerry Kill hate. That's what we should have made this. We'll remember. Look, we'll do it during the bye week, Taylor. We'll have you back and we'll just talk the bye week. That's right after Vanderbilt. We just come on and gloat about that win and about putting them in their place. All right, let's move on in the 6-pack here quickly. Miami and Florida. Hurricanes a 2.5 point favorite. 54.5 total points.
I like Miami because, and this is if y'all are audience of the next round, Dunaway likes Florida, and he is wrong probably 99.9% of the time. So fade Dunaway always. So I'm just like, and Florida, their schedule is just brutal. So I mean,
it is, but Miami's got a new quarterback. Florida doesn't. Graham Mertz, he's like the 4th returning leading passer in the SEC.
See, Brown earlier this week said, something is making me feel more and more confident about Florida heading into this week. And I was kind of jumping on the bandwagon with him until Dunaway said he liked Florida. I was like, okay, I'm off. Get me off immediately. Next exit, I'm out of here. So.
All right. Scrolling. Mississippi State is a 24.5 point favorite over Eastern Kentucky. With a new offense and a high-power offense, they haven't recruited all the guys they need to it just yet, but 24.5 seems like a low number to me, especially given what some of these other SEC teams did last night, specifically Missouri and Arkansas.
Right. I have some personal beef with Kentucky right now because of previous comments made. But yeah, that number does seem low, and especially last night because I had the double box going on my TV with the Missouri Arkansas games up, and
Yeah.
it was far into the third quarter, and I was like, "What is going on here?
Yeah.
Are they going to get scored on?" Which I mean, again, these games aren't against elite programs, but I guess because there are some question marks, maybe I'm assuming that's the reason.
Yeah.
Will they cover?
Take
I hope not.
there were you hope not? No?
Kinda.
You're going Eastern Kentucky? All right.
Yeah, yeah. They rubbed me the wrong way this all season.
All right. Fair enough. Um, Texas A&M and Notre Dame. A&M is a 3-point favorite. This is amazing to me. I can't believe they're a 3-point favorite in this game. New coach, tons of defections. You know, I just offensively, I don't know what they're going to be. Notre Dame has Riley Leonard coming in, proven quarterback. I like Notre Dame even on the road. Like A&M is not a it's a big place to play. It's not the most intimidating place you go in the SEC. So I like Notre Dame in this game.
I lean that way as well. The thing that makes me hesitate a little bit is, which I mean, this still Notre Dame could win and this still could be true, but the November 30th Texas A&M game. What I have been hearing, which a lot of my opinions come from Dunaway, Brown, and Lance, because that's what I listen to talk all day. But Lance is convinced that the Texas A&M game is going to be what determines who gets a spot in the playoff. So, what would that do for Texas A&M if they dropped this game this early? Because I mean, it's week one. I mean, that still could very well be the case come November. But Mike Elko, I mean,
you know, with now look, he will get more out of those players than Jimbo did.
Yeah.
He will. He'll get more out of his players than Jimbo did. All that talent, the ones that stayed, most of that really big class from 2-3 years ago are gone, but the ones that stayed, he'll get more out of them than Jimbo did. A&M's schedule, I don't think this hurts A&M. If they lose this game and beat other teams on their schedule, they host Missouri in early October. They host LSU. They got to play here the next, like before the Texas game.
Right.
That's a massive. If they've won all those other games, they're right in the thick of the discussion. And a loss to Notre Dame, I don't think means all that much if you're winning those games at the end of the year.
Right.
So, all right. So who are you picking in the game? Did I miss that?
No, you didn't. I just went on about stuff that probably really doesn't impact it. I would like. I'll say Texas A&M.
All right. So we differ on that one. And then real quick, LSU, USC. LSU is a 4-point favorite, 64.5 total points in this game. Both teams replacing tremendous quarterbacks from a year ago. USC doesn't play defense. We know that. What do we think? LSU by 4?
I like USC.
Yeah. Too much explosiveness?
To cover.
Okay. All right. Do you like them to win the game?
Win? Oof. I'm just going to say cover.
Okay. That's fine. That's all we'll document. We're not going to hold it against you either way. All right. Final thoughts. What are you most like? What gets the butterflies going? What gets you the most hyped when you think about being at Jordan-Hare Stadium, watching this team kicking off another season?
I love that it's a night game. I think that the atmosphere inside the stadium is going to be incredible. It always is. But I just think that there's a new level of excitement heading into this season. There are things to be excited about. There are players to be excited about and confident in. And I think, in my opinion, we're at a place now where the feeling isn't we're going to be, below average and prove to me that we're not going to have an awful season. It's more of, okay, we're going into the season with relatively high expectations. Maybe we'll outperform what Vegas thinks that we will. So let's just not slip up.
Yeah.
Let's play to the potential, utilize the players that were brought in, the weapons that, we brought in this past off season, and don't drop a game that we shouldn't. And I think that we're going to be in good shape. I just have a positive outlook on this season. Last season, there were so many question marks. Hugh Freeze didn't have a ton of time to rebuild the roster. So I love where we are right now. And I think I'm trying to be realistic about this season, but just the future of the program as a whole looks so bright, and it has been so dark. So the future of Auburn is we are on the come up. We're on the come up. So I'm excited for the season to get started, and I'm excited to watch these new guys play.
Appreciate you doing this with us today, Taylor. Thank you very much. Folks need to go check out thebarnauburn.com message board community. Awesome coverage. $1 for the first month at thebarnauburn.com. Check it out. See what it's like. It'll only cost you $1. And then after that, there are lots of other ways that you can get involved in the community, participate, and we encourage you to do that. Taylor, let everybody know what kind of stuff they're going to be getting from you and the Next Round gang over this first weekend of the season.
So we will have content going out all day Saturday. We will have stuff inside the stadium wise. We'll have stuff during warm-ups, and then throughout the game, real-time updates. I will be on the field, so I'll be sending out as much video as I can. And then I believe that Charlie 5 will be going live at halftime just to give the people a place to either celebrate the first half successes, vent a little if they need to, just share thoughts. And then there will also be a post-game show. So we'll have stuff all day, but make sure that your alerts are set because you don't want to miss it.
Very good. And then, of course, I'll be on the air with the Auburn Sports Network. We start 3 hours before game time on a radio station or your app or the website. So a lot of ways to find what we do here on game day. And that's pregame, halftime, postgame, everything. Check it out. And then, Taylor, you're back with me on Sunday for a recap of the opener. We're looking forward to that. Thank you again for this. Everybody remember, until next time, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.